You're telling me that you're doing all of this on the green Nigerian passport? Really?
I mean, I was invited for I was invited for a for a tourism conference in Turkey. When was that? That was end of January. I was denied. And guess what they denied?
What?
And guess what it was for? They said,
let me clap for you there for a minute. Just a minute. Let me clap for you there for a minute. I've not heard that one before, and I must say that is quite good.
Mauritius is visa free for Nigerians, but let me tell you, I don't know if you're a Nigerian, you want to go to Mauritius, please. So I met these European guys. I now asked them, like, how many days are you guys in the country? And guess what their reply was? They were like, they don't know when they are leaving. But as a Nigerian, I'm sorry. He has the American visa in his passport. He has the Canadian visa in his passport. But still they said you cannot come into the country. You know, so it's very challenging. I was like, Cairo to Cape Town. I calculated how many countries we're going to pass through. I was like, I'm sorry, but I guess you don't know this. For me to join you are a foreigner in this continent. But me, I'm living in the continent. You would pass through Cairo, pass through 7-8 countries to get to South Africa without needing a visa. But for me, as a Nigerian, I need over 6-7 visas. She was like, what? How do you mean? You're in Africa. This is Africa. Somalia is bad. See, Nigeria. You can make, I know a content creator right now in Nigeria that is doing $100,000 every month. I don't think I want to get married to an influencer. But right. I'm still young.
Okay. I know, really.
I'm still young.
Because I saw your excitement in Cabo Verde when you asked those two hot girls on the beach. Are you single? They said they were single, and I saw the excitement go through you. You weren't pretending at that point.
No. So what happened? What happened there was
my own was that I was looking for that girl in the video, and I didn't see her. That was my own. You hear people talk all the time about how the secret to success is to find your passion and to do that thing for a living. It sounds very, very perfect in theory. That's the dream life. But only a few of us will ever be fortunate enough to do that. Well, my guest today is one of the few people on the face of the earth who seems to have mastered that elusive art. He actually travels to the most exotic destinations in the world, and he tells the stories, and he makes a boatload of money. Consider, his last video on YouTube did 1 million views in just a little under 3 days. The dream life. On this one, I speak to the very well-traveled, the hardworking, the very creative, Stephen Ndukwu. This is the deep dive. Stephen.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for doing this one.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much.
Look, first of all, I am honest like that. I must confess to the viewers, you've been waiting on this one for quite a few hours. Somehow, I missed the sync in time. Look, I have always suspected that I was overworked and underpaid. I can confirm now.
Definitely, but we got to do it.
Somehow I don't understand. Somehow I thought they were talking about 10 a.m. Lagos time.
Yeah.
And I was just chilling, just waiting.
The time difference, they were trying to call you. I was like, this gentleman is sleeping. Probably he had a long day.
Man, I am definitely overworked at this point. I must do something about it.
Yeah, it's okay. At least we're finally doing this. Yeah, it's okay.
Look, I am very fascinated by what you do. I mean, how can a person just travel to the best places in the world, tell the stories, and be paid to do it? Look, for example, your video on Senegal, Akon City, that video did about 1 million views in just 2 days. Amazing. First of all, is that your usual type of response for all your videos, or was that one special?
For a video like that, I haven't, made so many videos that have done over 1 million in a few days. Probably right now, I've only done maybe like 4 videos that have gone over 1 million in 5 days. So, but one very interesting thing about YouTube is as you keep growing as a creator, your reach increases, right? So if you have a very interesting story to tell, a story that people are very curious about, a story that hasn't been told, a story that people don't have access to, definitely it will go viral. So even though I didn't have almost 1 million subscribers, or almost if I didn't have 500,000 subscribers and I still did that story, it's gonna go viral because it's a unique story, one that really hasn't been told by an African from an African perspective. So yeah.
But look, you're very brave. How did you know you could do this for a living? Or is it that you have another side job that you do? Do you have a 9 to 5? I mean, I'm thinking that is impossible with your traveling schedule. So how did you get to the point where you could do this and actually do it for a living? Because you're living most people's dream life rather.
Well, it looks like a dream life, but I can tell you without a doubt, it is not. But as to every other thing, you have to learn how to monetize your passion, right? For me, I had passions with, handling cameras, doing all these like things with cameras, drones. I was obsessed with these things, right? So I just had to figure out how can I actually make money. It's one thing to be a good filmmaker, to be a good storyteller, but if you haven't really mastered the art of making or turning this skill into like a profitable business, then you're going to be a creative guy with no money in the account, right? So right now I am still on that journey trying to figure out, how can I make money from this? How can I diversify? How can I increase my portfolio so that I can make the most stories in the world? I can obviously make the most money, creator, someone like Nas Daily is one of the examples that I like to use most of the time. He has been able to make money as a creator. Now he has understood the business side of it. And by business side, it's not just having 1.7 million in a few days, it's making sure like this 1.7 million people that have watched your videos have bought something from you, have given you money in one way or the other, right? That is when you're a businessman. So I'm still in the phase right now where I'm still learning how to, but as a creator, on default, you're going to earn money from streaming platforms, whether it be YouTube, X, TikTok, Facebook. But it gets to a point where probably the kind of stories you want to tell gets extremely big. You have a team, you have to, you have gears you need to buy, travel expenses. So the money that you're going to make from Accent might not necessarily be enough to cater for all your bills. Then you need to grow your income streams. You need to expand and figure out a way to make money. So right now, I'm still trying to figure out how can I make money other than Accent, brand deals. And maybe we're going to do an update to this video in a couple of years and I'll tell you, okay, I have figured out a formula that works for me.
See, it's very humbling to hear you say that, because to a lot of people, to many people looking in on the outside, you're already living the dream. When somebody like you says you're still trying to figure it out, then I'm thinking people will be thinking, then what should I do? Me that I'm nowhere at the moment. What should I do if Steven Ndukwu is still trying to figure it out and Steven is my hero?
Well,
I can just imagine. So how did you start on this?
How I started? So I mean, growing up, I've always loved videos. I love, making videos of myself. So after I graduated from school, I just knew like there's no way I'm going to use my degree for anything. I studied education economics. So I was like, the most I would be is a lecturer earning 500,000 naira, right, a month, right? So I was like, at school, I started designing stuff for my department. I used to be a graphic designer and stuff. And then I took a part-time job to I started learning video editing and stuff like that. All right, so fast forward when I graduated and everything, I moved to Lagos. I had an IT job, so I had a 9 to 5, but then the tasks that I had to do for the office would probably take me like 3 hours in a day. All right, so I get to the office by like 8, so from 9, 10, 11, I'm done with the office. I'm done with the day's work. So unlike other my colleagues, they are going to start watching movies. They just play around. You know, for me, I go on YouTube and I start watching videos about how to operate a camera, best camera. I was just watching these things, right? And then after a while, I picked up interest. I was like, yo, I think I would like to make a video. I'd like to make a video. So I went to Computer Village. I saved up 200,000 naira. I took that money and just went to Computer Village. Anybody selling camera, I was like, yo, give me a camera. It was like, what specification? I was like, just give me a camera that can do video. That guy, it seemed like God sent that guy, because he would have sold to me anything else than a 70D that he sold to me, because I had no idea what camera was. I just thought camera, like, you just need to buy any camera and it's going to do the work for you, right? I didn't know like there were specifications and stuff. So he gave me a camera called 70D, and that was what I literally started with. So when I got back to my house, I started watching videos, and a guy like Sean from Think Media was sort of like he was my lecturer on YouTube University. So he taught me like everything I needed to know about camera. So then I opened a YouTube channel, and then I started teaching people how to do this. So after I had learned how to use the camera, I started teaching people how to make videos. Then I used to teach people how to make nice Facebook ads, you know, because there were a lot of entrepreneurs that wanted to market on Facebook, Instagram. They needed somebody to teach them how to do video. So I started doing the videos, and then it get to a point where I was like, okay, you know what, since people are struggling doing this thing, let me start shooting videos for people. And then I started shooting videos for people. I did a lot of real estate, videos of entrepreneurs. I don't know if you know late Ubon King. I was literally the one that took his brand from like nothing to where he was before he passed away. So it got to a point where I was like, you know what, okay. So I think somebody make a comment, because I was teaching people how to do travel videos, right? And the guy was like, okay, so instead of teach us how to do something, show us how to do it. So I took out my camera, I went to Lakampan. We had like a friend, we had like a getaway with my friends, right? And I said, okay, you guys are here to have fun, I can as well come. I want to make a video about Lakampan. Then this was like when 2018 or so. A lot of people didn't know about Lakampan. I went there, I did a video. Oh, the video did very well. A lot of people were like, oh my God, this place is in Lagos, right? And it was an eye-opener for me. At that point, people were like, oh, Nigeria, Africa, like the things we usually hear about these places are bad things. So you guys have a place like this where people can chill. You know, it was sort of like a aha moment for me. And at that point, I was like, okay, who else is doing this thing in Africa? There were just a few guys I could point fingers to that were doing it. I was like, okay, let me see how I can start making videos. I started from Lagos. From Lagos, I expanded into Nigeria. From Nigeria, I expanded into West Africa, and then Africa. And it's only like this year we're going beyond. I think I've done beyond Africa. It's only now we're like expanding to like more countries, telling stories. But right now, it's more of like promoting. So when I started making these videos, people would be like, oh my God, because you know all these people, they watch channels and you know all these news platform, they rely on negative media to get clicks, right? So if you turn on your TV and channel will be like, oh, bomb blast in Lagos Island, blah 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 blah, you probably click on it and you watch, and that's how the press make money, right? So I wanted to be one of those people that would make well-informed video, like show you the other side, right? So if you want to see the most luxurious side of Africa, a side that have never been told before, watch my video. If you want to see some of the most wealthiest Africans talk about how they build their businesses, watch my video. If you want to see some of the best destinations in Africa, places that is just close to you but you probably don't know. You only know Dubai, you know London, you know Europe, right? There are places just close to you where you don't know. Watch my videos, and my videos will show you that. And that's pretty much the mission we are on right now, just to show the very good side of Africa, to promote my continent And yeah, that's how everything started, and that's where we are right now.
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's amazing how things change. I used to go to La Campagne a lot in the years 2010 to 2012. To find that as of 2018, people still didn't know about that place. That gem is quite it's quite instructive.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a comedian coming up, there's always like a community of comedians in Nigeria back then. If you met any comedian, you could be sure that he knew another comedian, that he had a good relationship. Now, I'm not sure that is the case anymore these days, but back then, I kind of think that way about you guys. For example, I told somebody I was going to be speaking to Steven Ndukwu, and they said, okay, that guy who does what Tayo I know does. And then I told somebody else, I want to talk to Tayo. They're like, oh, the guy who's Steven. I mean, you guys, they take you for one another when I mention you. So I'm curious, do you guys have a relationship together the way we assume that you do? Because it's like you do almost the same thing.
Tayo had he had like almost 250,000 subscribers before I even know what YouTube was, right? So he was already making videos. He had the information and everything, right? But I came into the scene, so I wanted to make my own videos, like very cinematic, very nice. I mean, we are both Nigerians, but we have like different mission, right? We are colleagues. We kind of like know ourselves, but I think we've done only one collaboration in the past where he was making a video for Techno. I think was it Techno? I don't remember, where he just called me up. But since then, we haven't really done anything. And we are always not in the same space, in as much as we both lived in Lagos. It's either when I'm coming in, he's going out, I'm coming I'm calling in. So we've not really like collaborated in this way, but there's nothing between us. But still, we see ourselves like people that are doing the same thing in the industry, and hopefully like in the future, we'll collaborate on something. But I think right now he's doing like the Caribbean. He's doing the Caribbean, while for me, I'm still focused like pretty much like on Africa.
Okay, so you're on your way out now. I mean, we're delaying you as far as I know. You're about to catch a flight or something. How many days in the year do you spend in Nigeria?
Yo, man. It gets shorter every year. So this year, all through like January, February, I was out. January, February, March, I was out. I came back March, April. So I'm preparing for a big trip. I'm preparing for a big trip next month, but I'm going to make like a short trip this weekend and just come back quickly. But I'm going to do 2 months on the road. I'm going to be in the UK. I'm going to be in France. I'm going to be in Morocco, Egypt. I'll do all of that in 2 months. And then when I come back, I'm going to do a little bit of Southern Africa, Namibia again, South Africa, Botswana, and then Angola. And then afterwards, I'm going to go to Asia a bit. So maybe for this year, I'll be in Nigeria anywhere around like 4 months. But from next year, it's going to drop to like 1 month or 2 months. I don't know. But it just keeps reducing every year, right? Yeah, but it's still my home. This is where my house is. But they say wherever your work is, you have to leave home to go to work.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I get that. For somebody who has been to some of the most exotic locations in Africa, for example, I was saying your Cape Verde video. First of all, how do they pronounce it? Is it Cape Verde, or because I kept hearing the video, is it Cape Verde?
It's Cape Verde in English. It's Cabo Verde in Portuguese. So
okay,
Cape Verde English, Cabo Verde Portuguese. Yeah.
Okay, so for somebody who has been to see Cabo Verde, for example, it's just a few hours away by flight from Nigeria, just right there off the West African coast. You've been to some of the most beautiful locations around us. Are you telling me that you're never tempted to relocate to those places, given the challenges of Nigeria, especially the mood of the times, the migration that our people call japa? You've never been tempted to relocate, or is it that you've already arranged something somewhere and we don't know?
So for me, like, I feel everybody have purpose for their life. They have what they have. That's how they want to live, right? But for me, I feel whatever change I'm doing, if I do it in my home country, if I do it in Africa, I get more impact, right? For me, I want to amass like a lot of wealth for myself. I am not looking to go to a country where I'm going to be treated as a second-class citizen and have basic health care here and there. Those things are nice to have, but I feel some of these countries would not necessarily make you a wealthy person as somebody coming in from Africa. However, some people prefer these countries because they have access to healthcare, good infrastructure, they can get a stable job. You can get a job paying you $2,000-$3,000 and you can live well with that, your family, great family. For me, I don't want that kind of life. I think I'm one of the only siblings in my family that's still here in Nigeria. I've been to some nicest place though, but I think the only problem right now for me is the Nigerian passport that I'm traveling with, which is what I would like to change, and I don't have the $150,000 to go buy a passport. So I'm trying to work something where I can get a PR in like a country that would give me access to more other countries, not necessarily because I want to live there. Whatever I'm doing right now in Africa, if I want to go to Europe or I want to go to North America or South America to do it, the impact will not be felt as much as my home continent, right? Because there's little information as to what I'm doing right now. So I want to contribute to where I feel I'm going to get the most accolades for, or I do the most impact and I make the most money, right? People talk about Nigeria, like Nigeria is difficult, but in that hardship, there's wealth, right? So you just have to know, first of all, what kind of life do you want? Do you want a stable life, access to healthcare, children go to good school, good infrastructure? You just want to work with a system. If that's the kind of life you want, then you go to America, you go to the UK, you go to Europe. Those places would give you that life. But if you want to do something, well, like this conversation is always very dicey because there are some people that struggle in Nigeria. They go to the UK, the US, their startup blows up. They become world-renowned, world-known. So I just feel everybody have to like decide on they have to decide on how they want to live, like how do you want to live. But for me, I feel I want to live in a place where I solve the most problems, right? Because entrepreneurship is all about solving problems. So one of the reasons why Dangote is the richest in Africa is because he's from a country that is a bit disabled in terms of exports. So he's exporting, he's producing, he's solving problems. And the more problems you solve, the more wealth you're going to amass for yourself, the more impact you get. So relocation, I'm always going to be a Nigerian living in Nigeria. If I'm going to go to the US, I'll do some time in the US, but I'm going to come back home. So no plans for relocation, but doesn't mean it's not a bad thing. People that are relocating have genuine reasons, and you can build in America, you can get rich. It just depends on, like what Nigerians are very hardworking people. I feel we're very hardworking. So anywhere we go to with our hard work, we always like find a way to excel. The only problem is the bad eggs. Nigeria has 200 million people plus. If 1% bad eggs go to America, it's going to paint the other Nigerians as bad people, hence making it very difficult in terms of getting business opportunities and stuff like that. So if you're a genuine Nigerian going to the UK with genuine reasons, you want to create a business, you might get hurdles because some Nigerians had gone there previously and messed things up, So it's a very dicey conversation, but it's left for the individual preference. And I'm a Niger boy living in Nigeria.
Yeah. Okay, so I get that about the West. I get that about the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and wherever else, Asia, Dubai, and all that. But what about the exotic places in Africa? Again, I go back to Cape Verde. I mean, you had such a great time there. In fact, to quote you, Cape Verde was a prototype of heaven. And it is just, and it is just it's just a few hours away by plane. I'm thinking that myself, the way I'm thinking is that, look, okay, at the very least, I will set up like a parallel type of existence going on in that place, knowing that I'm just a few hours away from Nigeria by plane. So what about the other exotic locations in Africa? Are you saying that even with all that we're going through, we're still the giant of Africa? Again, let me bring in another of your recent videos. It was your video about Ivory Coast. You went to Abidjan and you went to a couple of other places. I mean, if those pictures are to be believed, and why are they not to be believed? We saw them with our eyes. The roads, the skyline, the people. I mean, so again, how about places in Africa? You are not tempted to even move to neighboring Ivory Coast, Cape Verde?
Yeah. So I'm not going to move to a country because it's beautiful, nice infrastructure. And also, if I move to this country and I go and live there permanently, who is going to be the one traveling and showing all of these amazing places? So, okay, let's say I go to America. America is, one of the most well-developed countries in the world, and I go there. Who's going to be traveling and making all these cinematic travel videos for people to watch on YouTube? There's nobody. So somebody has to be the one doing it. I mean, you go to all these places, they are beautiful. They offer things that Nigeria doesn't have. I was in Mauritius, and I can tell you that country is beautiful. You go there, like, they respect zebra crossing. You're not going to see police people standing on the road. And this is your fellow African country. It's not like we've left the country. We're still in Africa. You see, everything is automated. Nobody will come and tell you, stop. Where's your driver license? Or this. There are speed cameras. If you pass through the traffic light, nobody will disturb you. It's when you are going to renew your papers that you see that you are owing $1,000. Everything works. Everybody knows what they're doing. So if you are speeding at your own pace. So we see all these things. But for me, I really do want to. I'm a businessman as well. I'm a storyteller. So I feel, and also if you ask me why I'm still in Nigeria, Nigeria is still one of the best place and the cheapest place to live in the world. How much is our rent? Say you want to live in like Victoria Island, or you want to live in Ndukwu. How much is the rent? If you want to get a driver, you want to get a chef, you want to get all these people to help you have a great life, how much is it? The only problem is probably healthcare, some little insecurity, those things, but money cannot really get those things out. But I feel all of these places are very nice. I was in a place in Rwanda. It's called the Gorilla's Nest, where I was in one of the most expensive resorts in Africa. It's called One and Only. A room there can go for like $25,000 a night. It's so big, it's so large, and there are people that are living in that community. Very beautiful. They are living in a forest, in the eucalyptus forest. Which other place? Also, Camp Stay. I was in Camp Stay. I was in Clifton, Bantry Bay in South Africa. Those are like very nice places. You go to Mauritius. Seychelles was also beautiful as well. I'm going to be in Angola. I've never been there before. Cabo Verde like was very nice as well. Ivory Coast is trying in terms of development. But if you're asking me why have I never had the motivation to move to those places, is for me, I'm a traveler, and somebody has to travel to these places to make those content. And all I really wish of my country is for my country to do better in terms of like our polity, our government, and because like I want to travel to as much places as I can. So if I move somewhere else, I might have to start life over again, which I don't want to start life over again. Trying to get acquainted with the country, what it feels like for you to live there. Maybe if you ask me this question in 5 years' time, maybe it might change. But for now, I'm sure all I want to do is travel. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I mean, I can understand that. I mean, if you move to everywhere that impresses you when you get there based on what you see, then I guess you'll be moving every video, more or less.
Every video will be I have moved.
So yeah, I understand that. Okay, so see, before I leave that area, I still find that despite all the challenges that Nigeria has, the rest of Africa still respects us. I mean, see what you said about Mauritius, for example. They have all this order that we don't seem to have on the surface. I can imagine that a person who is coming from a place like Mauritius to Nigeria the first time might be shell-shocked. I mean, we don't generally wait for traffic lights. We're taking one way. We're doing all those sorts of things, right? But they still respect us from what I can gather. Because I go to some of these places, they hear that you're Nigerian and they respect you. What would you say is responsible for that?
Nigerians are entrepreneurial. We are masters of businesses. We are entrepreneurs at heart. Listen, a Nigerian would find a way to make money. And that's the reason why our government are quite relaxed, because they know we Nigerians can fend for ourselves, right?
Let me clap for you there for a minute. Just a minute. Let me clap for you there for a minute. I've not heard that one before, and I must say that is quite good. Our government, in a manner of speaking, take us for granted because they know that they'll be fine. They'll find a way.
Definitely. Let me give you an example. Now, I went to a place in Rwanda. Now, we went to see the mountain gorillas, right? Now, to see the mountain gorillas, you're going to hike up for like 30-40 minutes thereabout. Now, we wore our shoes to go there, and then while we wore our shoes, we went up and then we came down. Our shoes were muddy. Some of our clothes needed some cleaning. And then I stopped the tour guide. I asked him, why have you guys not opened a laundry shop close by that can offer shoe cleaning services for people that have come down from the mountain? Their shoes are dirty. They just need some quick brush up, so that they can continue their adventure around Rwanda. And the guy was like, oh my God, I have never thought of something like this. So you see, I am a Nigerian. Would I say it's because I'm a Nigerian that I am so business centric like that? I don't know, but it has to come from a Nigerian. So it is a problem.
Maybe it's because you are an Igbo man.
So I was like, one name, do you know how much money you people are missing? So you have all these tourists that come from America, from Europe. They have purchasing power. All you just have to do is do the mathematics. You have a group of 7 people. They come down from the mountain, offer them shoe cleaning service, $15. Give me $15, 10 minutes, I'll clean your shoe for you, and in no time you are back on the road. So multiply, about 4 sets go. So 7 times 4. 7 times 4 times $15. That's how much you are going to make in one day. So I think most of these people, they are scared of Nigerians because we are very entrepreneurial. South Africa, I mean, the xenophobia, people talk about that because they say Nigerians were going there and we are taking away their jobs. Yes, because if you are lazy, we'll go in there and we're going to disrupt the market. So a lot of people are scared because we are very entrepreneurial. We have one of the best brains in the world, but it's quite limiting. When you come to the country, our government, we keep losing human capital. The whole Jackpot movement, we're losing some of our best hands. And some of these countries, they'll be like, okay, you are making drones. China will take you. You come, you are making this one. Europe will take you. You are doing this one. The UK will say, come, Tech Nation visa, we'll give it to you. If you are a tech guru, come, we'll take you. America, if you're good, we'll take you. They are taking all our talent. And because the government is not doing anything to empower this human capital. And that's going to be our problem. But then, everywhere you go in the world, you are going to hear a Nigerian breaking history. You say, where have I even gone to? Where's the most renowned place? You go and you see a Nigerian business. You go there, you see a Nigerian person, he has a business. I'll be like, one name, how did you find out this place? And you go there, they'll tell you they open a Nigerian restaurant. A lot of people like Nigerian food, So, yeah, people are scared of us because we're entrepreneurial. And that's one thing Nigeria is known for,
So the people, it's the people, it is us.
Yeah.
We have something that we carry that compels the respect of not only the rest of Africa, but the rest of the world, as it were.
Yeah.
Thank you for confirming that again. Okay, so let's talk limitations of the Nigerian passports. I mean, it's easy for anybody who doesn't know you to assume that you have a British passport or an American passport or one of the passports of the Caribbean islands. You're telling me that you're doing all of this on the green Nigerian passport. Really?
Definitely. I mean, I was invited for I was invited for a for a tourism conference in Turkey. When was that? That was end of January. I was denied. And guess what they denied?
What?
And guess what it was for? They said my application was not positively reviewed, and that's why they denied it. So we get visa denial, and sometimes it's probably because we're stereotyped. So you go, even sometimes when you get the visa and you go to the immigration officer, you drop once they just say passport please, you drop your passport, they say, oh, green. There's this look on the face like, what are you doing? I mean, I made a video that went quite viral about how I was treated in Mauritius. Mauritius is visa free for Nigerians, but let me tell you, I don't know if you're a Nigerian, you want to go to Mauritius, please just make sure you do all your paperwork, because they are looking for the slightest opportunity to send you back home. As a Nigerian, you must stay in a 5-star resort. It's visa free, no problem, you can come, but you must stay in a 5-star resort. You must have minimum of $150 times the numbers of days you want to spend in that country. So if you want to do 1 week, you must have $150 times 7 days. That's excluding of, you must sort out your hotel and feeding and every other thing. That's number 2. And then you are given 14 days to spend in the country. For me, I wanted to do like a travel video. Because I'm making a travel video, I'm not a tourist. I'm there to make videos. I need more time. You gotta give me 14 days. Say 14 days, do whatever you want to do and leave, right? But then I met these European counterparts. I met them at my hotel. Okay, before I say that. So they made me stay in a 5-star resort that I did not need to stay. So I had a very fancy room that I was not spending time. I paid $1,500 for 3 nights. I was still in a fancy room. I enjoyed no amenities. I just wake up in the morning, carry my camera, and I'm out, right? So I met these European guys. Oh, they were like, yo, you're from Africa, what do you do? I was like, yeah. I now asked them, like, how many days are you guys in the country? And guess what their reply was? They were like, they don't know when they are leaving. An African person cannot say that. Even as a Nigerian, you cannot. So they will give them as high as 60 days. Sorry, they give them as high as 90 days. And if you want to exceed your 90 days, all you just have to do is send their home office an email, say, I want to extend my stay. Please, they'll process it for you same day. But as a Nigerian, I'm sorry. So I was like, how do you mean like you guys don't know where you're living? I'm like, they only gave me 14 days and I'm out of here in 5, So it's like we still get even actually Wodemaya is actually in town right now. He's staying just beside me. From this interview now, we're going somewhere. As big as he is, he was traveling through the Caribbean. He still had issues. Like, for example, he was telling me of how he had problems getting into Panama. And funny how he has the American visa in his passport. He has the Canadian visa in his passport, all active. But still they said, you cannot come into the country, so it's very challenging. But the thing is, as a creator, as a traveler, as somebody doing great work, it gets easier at some point. Most people will recognize you, but at the end of the day, that whole green passport is still, and the government, I don't know how strong our foreign affairs is, but you see, what makes Mauritius and Seychelles passport the strongest in Africa that can allow you to travel more than 140 countries visa-free is because their government is constantly negotiating visa waivers with superior countries, with the European government, with the Chinese government, And the last time I was there, I've not followed up on that news. Mauritius was having negotiation with America to take away visa waivers for Seychelles citizens. You see, but they have that advantage because Seychelles is a travel destination. Americans want to go to Seychelles to vacate, while Seychelles want to go to America. It's not the case for Nigeria. How many Americans want? The few Americans you see here, they are business people, or they are Nigerians that had moved to America and they are citizens and they are only coming back home. So Nigeria is not a tourist destination. We can't even have that conversation. So past the visa limitation is still there. So that's why you're going to have some of my colleagues put up $150,000 to go buy I cannot spend that kind of money. I don't even have that kind of money to go and buy a passport. But recently I was exploring like other routes that I can follow that can at least give me a PR in a very strong country that would then eventually turn to a passport where I can now access more countries, but I don't want to live outside Africa. These countries, Africa is still blessed. There's still a lot of things you can do. But, one last example before I end this. So there's a lady, she's European, and she messaged me, "Hey, Steven, I want to travel from Cairo to Cape Town. We're doing that on a van. Do you want to come and join us on the trip?" I was like, Cairo to Cape Town. I calculated how many countries we're going to pass through. I was like, I'm sorry, but I guess you don't know this. For me to join you are a foreigner in this continent, but me, I'm living in the continent. You would pass through Cairo, pass through 7-8 countries to get to South Africa without needing a visa. But for me, as a Nigerian, I need over 6-7 visas. She was like, "What? How do you mean? You're in Africa. This is Africa." I was like, you would do it, but me, I can't do it. So you see the problem now. So I think what Imaya was telling me, one of his visions, he wants to do the Cairo to Cape Town trip, and he wants to promote the campaign Borderless Africa. I don't know how strong our African Union is, but it's still a problem. It's a limitation. It only gets slightly easy. Doesn't mean I will not get visa denials. I'm getting visa denials not because of me. It's because of my country people that have done damage with the passport that I am holding. That's why I will get a visa denial, right? But maybe in the future, we do this interview again. I'll tell you now. I have $150,000. I want to go buy. I want to go buy a passport.
Okay, so look, this particular subject is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
First of all, what is clear from what you have said is, as challenging as the Nigerian passport is, it seems people just have problems. It seems there's some bit of stereotyping going on, not only with Nigerians, but with maybe West Africans or even black people, because Wodemaya, whom you mentioned, is not Nigerian. And even he has challenges. He's Ghanaian, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And so even he has challenges because he carries a Ghanaian passport.
Yeah.
So you're not, before we completely kill the Nigerian passport, even other West Africans have issues. It might not be as much as our issues.
Nigeria is even better. I was speaking to someone from Somalia. Somalia is bad. See, Nigeria. The problem is why Nigerians always make the news is our population first, and we are very loud people. We know how to cast situations. There are people from Somalia that it's bad for them. It's so bad. You'll be seeing their country, only 20 countries that they can go without needing a visa. So yeah, it's just that we have bad PR. Nigeria has bad PR.
Okay, moving on from that, how do you decide where to go, Stephen, at this point where you've been to? Look, before I even go beyond that, when you were speaking of the visa thing, as soon as you said you were denied a visa from going to, was it Turkey? You said
Turkey, yeah.
Yes, I said what? I interjected, I exclaimed as a Nigerian, the legend that we have, the axiom we have, the mindset that we have, the stories that are told us is that the more places you've been to, the more visas you have in your passport, the easier it will be for you to get visas to other countries. In fact, I know people that before they go to the American embassy, they go to Dubai, they go to China first, so that the Americans can see that they've already traveled. So you're saying that even with all these visas in your passport, the Turkish consulate still denied you?
Yeah, they're going to deny you. However, that's a very good strategy. As a Nigerian, it's advisable for you to start with your immediate environment. Go to Kenya, go to Ghana, go to South Africa, travel, because all of these consulate, they just want to see that you have traveled. And because a lot of people would go and get an American B1, B2 visa, then they will lie to the consulate that they are going for a conference. However, they go for that conference and they don't come back. So because thousands and thousands and thousands of people have done similar, they are now more conscious and they are articulate with their scrutiny, But however, as a Nigerian, by the time you keep, and if you are also somebody making impact, you have a business, you're an influencer, you're a public speaker, you're an entrepreneur, it becomes way easier because then they can identify you to something. They'll say, okay, he's building something, right? And so it gets easier by the time you travel to a few countries. It's a very good strategy. So by the time you mix that with having like a very strong portfolio, whether it be you are an employer, like you have a business, or you're working for a very big company, that is a very good tie that I feel if you used to. But America can be crazy sometimes. You can have all of this, you just go there, they'll ask you 2 questions and say, sorry, you don't qualify.
Well, apparently, other places like Turkey can be crazy too. I mean, if they are denying you.
Yeah. So with Turkey one, I guess they did not look at my application. I can 100% say they didn't look at my application. They just probably carried the file and just say, no, I'm not going to give it to you.
These limitations.
With what I submitted, I don't feel like you're going to look at my portfolio and be like, we're not going to give him visa.
You must have been shocked.
So it's a stereotype.
When you got the reply that what?
Yeah, I was because I was even going to as I applied for the visa, I was even going to go and pay for my flight already. Even without the visa coming out, because I'd be like, okay, the visa is going to be out on Monday. I'll travel on Wednesday. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, so you mean to tell me if I got to pay for flight now it's me and the airline that I'll be doing back and forth as to refund, right? So I was quite certain, but I knew like they're just stereotyping me. It's not because I'm a bad person or anything. It's just people have done bad things in Turkey as Nigerians. Yeah.
Okay. How do you decide where to go? You've been almost everywhere. I mean, at this point, do you just spin the globe like in coming to America? Do you just spin the globe, close your eyes, and then stick your finger, and wherever is a light on?
So right now it's just where there's interesting story. I went to AFCON because of the games that was there. I went to Senegal because I wanted to do that city. I went to Cape Verde because I was working with the tourism board. I was in Rwanda because I was working with the tourism board. I was in South Africa because I went for a Google Awards. I was in Zimbabwe because I was curious. I wanted to put the country on the spotlight as well. I'm going to be doing a trip across Europe and the UK because I want to share like diasporan stories. So literally, where there is a story, you will find me there. And that's why I wish I had like a stronger passport so that I can just wake up in the morning and be like, oh, there's this. You know how all these news people, CNN, they have correspondent anywhere so that anything that comes out quickly is out, so I only wish I had a passport so that if something is happening in South Africa, I'm there immediately. But yeah, I choose a country based on like a story. So the story I want to do in the UK is I want to share story of some of the most successful diasporas that have moved to the UK, because most people move to the UK, they'll be like, oh, you are poor, okay, so because you did not have a job in Nigeria, you want to move to the UK to go and find a job. But now I want to meet people, I want to tell their story, people that have gone there and have succeeded, and they are now contributing to the British economy. I will do same for America sometime next year as well. So that's the story I want to tell. So yeah, it all depends on the story I'm telling.
Okay, great. As an aside, when we're off camera after this, I will share with you a path that you might follow to get a stronger passport that doesn't involve a $150,000 upfront investment. We'll do that after the interview. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. I'm on the path. I'm currently on the path. One of that. Yeah, I'll share with you.
Okay, great. So, rounding this up, tell me. Younger people see you and others of your ilk now who are traveling the world, who are making this social media, online money, and a lot of them do not want to remain in school anymore. They feel that education is pointless, especially if the education stresses you like ours in Nigeria is wont to do. They want to just get out and make money now online. I mean, consider you, for example, who studied something to do with education, economics education, and you're not even anywhere remotely related to what you studied in school. What would you say to a younger person? Is education, especially in Nigeria, with all the pain and the delays and the hassle and the stress, is it still worth it if I'm a younger person who is in school right now and I want to be a filmmaker? Should I even bother finishing?
So this topic is very sensitive. A lot of people have their own opinions, but this is my own opinion, right? I'll say, first of all, decide on what you want to do initially. But there's a cluster to that. Most people don't know what they want to do. And most times, guess where's the place you discover yourself is in school, in university. Most people, for me, I discovered myself in university. So what I'm going to say to people is, if you have not, if you know without a doubt, this is what I want to do 100%, then you don't necessarily need to go to university. But if you don't know what you want to do, you are still in a phase of your life where you're trying to decide, you need to go to school. And in going to school, I feel that might be a good environment for you to discover yourself. And also, just the certificate. Now, a lot of people say, whatever you're doing, you don't need to study what you're doing. Yeah, sometimes there are some things you want to apply for. You need to show like you are a graduate. For example, for most people that are doing the study path to the UK, America, Canada, you need to show like you're a graduate and all of these things. So I would say, if you're at that phase of your life, you're probably in your early 20s, or like you don't have so much going on, just go to the school. It's just 4 years. Just go. I'll just say, just go to school. Use that to while away time, right? And in the process, you might discover. But however, for me, if I know what I know now, I would not have wasted my 4 years in the university. I'll just go right away to what I want to do. And trust me, I would have not been at this level, because from 200 level, I already know like I'm studying the wrong course, and it's not going to help me to do anything. Because I asked myself the question: who's the most well-paid professor in Nigeria? Say you are teaching in university. As at then, it was 500,000. You understand? And how much the professors for the course I studied, education economics, the apex is to be a professor in a federal university, or whether it be in a federal or private university. I can bet you a professor is probably not making up to $1 million. And right now, do you know how much boys are making? Like all these kit makers, some of them were showing me their AdSense. I was like, a professor in 30 years will not make what they are making in 2 months, right? So there's a lot of opportunity right now when it comes to something you want to do. The problem with young people is they have sold us this thing like, enjoy your 20s, enjoy your youthful age. You don't need to stress yourself too much. Come on, you're too young. But there are stages of life, right? At the age of your 20s, I feel this is where you should be running the most experiment of your life, right? You should be doing this, doing that, doing this, trying to put your head in too many places. Because when you cross 30 is, you have already found a purpose. And at 30, you start specializing on that purpose. When you get to your late 30s, I feel it's mastery. Then you are a master. Then you're thinking of expanding, building. At age 39 is not when you're going to come and say you're trying to find yourself, right? So young people have to know, like, if you're young, just there's a million things. Sometimes I just sit down and I'm like, if I'm not a creator, this is what I'll be doing. If I'm not this, there are quite a number. Even if I choose not to be a creator right now, there's still like 4 options. Like I can go and sell real estate and I'll be very successful at it, right? So I feel expose yourself to information, but don't be information overloaded, right? Expose yourself with enough information and just try to experiment 1 or 2 things. Before I started making videos, let me tell you all the things I did in my life. Before I started making videos, first, I was a graphic designer. From graphic designer, I became a photographer. From photography, I started doing social media marketing. From social media marketing, I started editing videos. I was doing animation on the side. From there, I started building website. From website, what else did I do? I started shooting videos for people. So then I'll be like, whatever video you want to shoot, I'm going to help you shoot it. It was after I did all of these things that I realized I have quite a number. I have skill sets that can make me. So what I did was I just left the back of the camera and I moved to the front, right? And that's pretty much what changed, right? So you see, all of those skills that I learned today, they're still very helpful. People say I have some of the best thumbnails on YouTube. I designed them myself because I was a graphic designer. People say I make some of the best videos. It's because I know filmmaking. I know a lot of things about cameras. I know how to make a great video. By looking at the camera, I can even tell you if it's balanced, if it's not. By looking at the ambience, I can tell you if the lighting is even right, So all of those things help me. But I think that's where mentorship comes. If you have a mentor, they're probably going to help you fast track. So there are quite a number of things to do as a youth. Like you can make money from home. Like I did a series. I was meeting people doing forex, and they were showing me how much they're making. And these guys are not even up to 30 years old, right? I did an interview with B-Lord. A lot of people say he's a criminal, but he took me to his office and broke down his business for me, showed me his income. I've met some other entrepreneurs that show me, and all of these guys, they started when they were like 25, 26. You only get to hear about their success when they are 30 something, right? So guys, if you're young watching this video, there are endless opportunities. If you want to be a content creator, like there's endless opportunities. You can make, I know a content creator right now in Nigeria that is doing $100,000 every month. So you can imagine making $100,000 a month and you are living in Nigeria. You are a king. You're making more than some people in the Senate, So, and you can diversify. You can make money from brands. You can make money from AdSense. You can make money from partnerships. Like you can diversify. So first of all, find what you want to do. If you haven't found what you want to do and you have time on your end, which means you're in your 20s, 19, 20, 21, go to school, speak to a mentor, and just research. For me, I was watching a lot of videos. So you might pick your interest in so many things. I don't know. I've just been beating around the bush, but I hope I've passed the time.
Well, thank you. That was informative. Thank you very much. You said this influencer, rather, this content creator in Nigeria is making $100,000. That's more than people are making in the Senate. And you're correct. And I thought to myself, as you were saying that what a misfortune. How unfortunate that in Nigeria, it is our politicians that we hold up as the standard and the richest people in the country. I was reading a book yesterday where it said that the way you will never be rich in the United Kingdom is to be a civil servant. And I laughed and I thought to myself that is the exact opposite in Nigeria. That is the one way you are guaranteed to be rich.
I don't know if you saw that series I did where I was going to some of the most luxurious neighborhoods in Abuja. The real estate guy was telling me all of this, because when I go to these areas, I ask you, who's the average person? What occupation is that person in that can afford to buy a house in this place? They're going to tell you it's politicians. So the question is, how can a politician afford 4 billion naira to put down a deposit for a property? It doesn't happen. Politicians, you're a public worker, right? Mm-hmm. I was when I was in Cabo Verde, a mayor is like a governor. We were walking on the road. He's driving a 14-hour 4x4. He had only one security detail. And we're just walking on the road in the night. He was greeting people, waving people. I posted a video on TikTok, 1.2 million views, because people were like, what? But our Nigerian politicians, the only time you see them walking on the road is when they go to New York. When they're in New York, that's when they walk on the road. But when they're in Nigeria, convoy, security, personnel, everywhere. And somebody was trying to ask me, why do Nigerian politicians have the need to go with a lot of convoy? Are people after their lives? I'll be like, why are people not after your lives?
All right.
So yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Rounding this up and off now. You mentioned your thumbnail, and I'll come back to that finally. But I need to ask you. You kept referring to younger guys. And then when I take into account the number of things you've done over the course of your career, photographer, website designer, advisor, this and that, how old are you?
I'm 28 at the moment.
You're 28. You see, that always amazes me because look, it's just amazing. So you're yet to be 30 and you're doing and have done all these things. I must congratulate you for what you're doing.
Yeah. So that's why I kept saying, like, you have to discover yourself at a young age. So for me, I already know my parents we are not poor, but we are just slightly above. So my parents could afford to give us the basic needs of life, can send us to an average school. We're not hungry, we're not on the street, we have a roof over our head and stuff, right? But I know when I came to Lagos, I said my parents are poor. So I started, I left my parents' house when I was 20. So I used to work with this guy, late Ubon King, and he used to say a quote. He said, if you are 20 years old and you are still in your father's house, what's that word again? You are something. So he's always he puts it, and then people get upset. They'll be like, what do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. But if you look at it, it's true. And I think one of the things that worked to my advantage is because I left my parents' house very early. I moved to Lagos, I knew nobody. And that's how, like, the skill that I got from that, like, it just puts that hunger in me when I know that, I'm here in Lagos, so I'm squatting with my friend in Ikorodu. You get? So I started pretty early, and that's why when I kept saying, I was like, discover yourself early. It doesn't mean there are people that start at age 30 and still get successful, but trust me, the money is nicer when you are young. When you spend the money when you're young, you feel it more.
Okay. The late Bon King, God rest his soul, he was my friend.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, I work with him. I was the one, when I started working with Mr. King, he had like 9,000 followers on Instagram. I took his page up to, I think it was 200,000. I grew his YouTube. I was the one that YouTube channel that people used to watch. I created the YouTube channel. I grew it from 0 subscribers to how many? It was 80,000 before he died. I grew it from 0 to 80,000 in the space of, would I say, 5-6 months. Right, so I think all of those skills actually came in handy when I was trying to do for myself as well, because I like helped people do it for themselves. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, you're not married right now, yeah?
I'm single.
Single, right?
I'm still young.
I know, really.
I'm still young.
Because I saw your excitement in Cabo Verde when you asked those 2 hot girls on the beach. Are you single? They said they were single, and I saw the excitement go through you. You weren't pretending at that point.
So what happened there was when I was going to go to the country, a lot of people say Cabo Verdean girls are the nicest girls in Africa. So they said I should specifically go and find single girls and interview them. So when she told me she was single, I said, so that scream was like, oh, you are the person I'm looking for.
Okay. Very good. I saw that, and I thought to myself, as soon as I saw that, the thought that went through my mind was that, to be young again. To be young and single again.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think at some point you might want to get married? Do you think that marriage is going to slow down this your career and the momentum? I mean, this is you leaving a wife and kids at home, going all over the world. Do you ever consider that? Is that a reason for you to put off marriage?
Yes, it's going to affect a lot. So that's why I have to marry someone who, first of all, is an entrepreneur, someone who has flexibility in lifestyle, right? Somebody who can afford to travel with me. And I think that's why, with Imaya, he has to marry a fellow traveler. But in as much as he married a fellow traveler, there's this whole need of like, okay, I mean, he was in the Caribbean for like 3 months, and he needed to go back to Ghana, but then he wasn't done with the story he was making in the Caribbean. So all he did was just tell his wife, you know what, you come and join me in Caribbean. And because they have that financial capability to travel wherever they want, and she too is a travel person, so she will also benefit from that trip. So instead of him traveling back home to go and meet his wife, he brought everybody he needed there to come to him, So definitely marriage would slow things down, but I just hope I get married to somebody that I don't think I want to get married to an influencer. But I just hope the person I get married to is like really understanding. And when I get married, I won't be able to. I cannot wake up this week and say, this week I want to go to London. This week I just go to London. No, you have to take permission from people.
Yes,
you have to consider your child. So obviously things will change, but maybe I'll figure it out. I don't know, maybe, but yeah, definitely things will change.
All right then, awesome. I said we're going to end on the thumbnail. I think you do fantastic thumbnails. I loved the one with the Senegal, the Akon City. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah. But I have an issue. With you on one thumbnail. I was going to take you to task on this one. We go back to...
I know the thumbnail.
Okay, tell me.
I know the thumbnail you are talking about. Yeah, the Cabo Verde one, yeah?
So tell me the issue you think I have with it.
Yeah, so a lot of people say, I put a girl on my thumbnail. They were bashing me online saying, that's the first country. I like, listen. those people now, there are some countries that they have an identity. For example, what is Nigerian identity? What is even our yellow buses, right? So you can easily now, if you watch that video, you're going to listen to that girl said, we are island people. We spend our time on the beach and we live in the beach. And what is the one attire people wear to the beach? Bikini. Why would foreigners travel far and wide to a country that has beautiful girls? Is because these people can be found in the beach. So what I did with that thumbnail was a lot of interpretation. And first was a lady wearing a bikini with the Cabo Verdean flag to tell people like these people, they love the beach. On a Monday, you go to the beach, you see a lot of girls wearing their bikinis just lying down there in the ocean, right? And that's why, and they have some of the most beautiful girls in Africa. That's why you see that. On the other side, you see somebody write something like, this is not Europe. Now, Cabo Verde is a country that has a lot of European influence. And even when I met the mayor of Praia and I met the mayor of South Island, they both told me, yes, our country is Europe influenced. It's only now we are looking at expanding to mainland Africa. And that's why you see me wrote something like, this is not Europe on the thumbnail. I mean like those, and that's why also my title, I wrote, I found a European country. I know also with YouTube, you have to slightly trigger people to click, because if people don't click on your videos, whatever information you have in that video is useless. So all of this was representation and also enticing people to click on the video. So yeah, I don't know what 2 cents you got.
Look, don't mind any of those people. Me, I didn't have any of those problems with the thumbnail. Don't mind any of these sanctimonious, hypocritical, pretentious people. That's not my own. My own was that I was looking for that girl in the video and I didn't see her. That was my own. I was looking for that specific girl. I went through that video 2 times.
The thing is, I interviewed the girl, but she had problems with English, because English is not their first. English, they speak, their first is Portuguese, their second is Creole. So most people don't even know what English is. So she was struggling talking on the camera. I was like, you know what? I'll just take her out. But yeah, I took a picture with her.
Okay. God bless you. Send me that picture. All right. Stephen, thanks a lot for doing this for us. Yeah. Sorry for the delay to start this. And I look forward to seeing you in person very soon. Maybe we'll do some.
Definitely. When I'm in America, where are you based? Where are you based in America? Like
I'm in Texas at the moment.
Oh, okay. So if I'm in that area, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll hang out and we'll talk travel and some other things. God bless you, bro.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me. Well, one thing he's not going to mention is pretty late right now. He had to wake up when he was briefing for the interview. His face was square. He just woke up from sleep. Because so
how I
these are some of the things. These are some of the things people don't see, right? They're probably going to see a nicely done interview, but they don't see the hard work. Somebody, even the team that is here, they had to leave their house by 6 to get here. All of these technicalities, you guys don't see. So I'm actually doing a series with skit makers, and I'm trying to investigate if skit making is a get rich quick industry. A lot of people see skit makers, they come out and in a few months they are buying houses, buying luxury cars, and some people will be like, this one is Yahoo, like he's doing fraud, right? So that series would really dive deep into the hard work that goes into making whatever content you see. That small 1-minute video that you saw, you were like, oh, this video is very funny. It probably took them a lot to come up with that, right? So what I'm trying to say is, videos like this, people just watch it, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into content creation. And yes, the creator economy is actually an industry too, and I hope very soon the creator economy will also be part of one of the industries or one of the sectors that's contributing to Nigeria's GDP and also the GDP of the world. Yeah.
Awesome. We couldn't have closed any better than that. Thanks a lot. That was perfect ending. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Hope you went well.
The Omoluabis, or the Omoluabi people, whom we call the Yoruba people, they have a concept and a saying wherein they say, Ibi ori dani si, ibe la agbe, which literally translates as that you need to remain where you were born, or you need to stay wherever you were created. So that if you were born in Lagos, remain in Lagos. If you were born in Accra, remain in Accra. If you were born in Yaoundé, Bamako, Djibouti, Abidjan, Cape Town, Uganda, the UK, wherever you were born, just remain there. But that doesn't make any sense. I mean, never go to another place, never visit, never take up appointments, never relocate. That does not seem to make sense. And it doesn't. The wisdom that the Omoluabis lend us with that concept is that for all of us, there is a place that the universe has designed for us to be per time. I say this in reference to my guest, Stephen Ndukwu, a man who's not only traveled some of the most beautiful and exotic locations on the face of the earth, but if he wanted, he could have started to scheme about how to remain behind or to relocate to some of those places. But according to his testimony, he knows that he needs to be situated in Lagos, Nigeria at this point. That is freedom and power. To know where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do per time in life is liberation. I say this now mindful of the fact that a lot of our people in Nigeria and even other parts of Africa are emigrating to other parts of the world. And there's no problem with that. As I'm speaking to you right now, I am in the United States of America. There is no place that is bad and there is no place that is good. Really, when we think about it, yes, there are basic amenities and basic structures of life that you need. But even in some of the places that we think are some of the worst places, people thrive, yeah? And in some of the places that we think are some of the best places, people suffer, okay? People live in penury. The trick is to figure out where life is planting you and the instructions that life is giving you per time. And how do you do this? You need to pray. And when I say prayer, I don't mean what you identify as prayer. It's not all the kneeling down, or all the standing up, or all the waving your hand, or all the closing your eyes, or all these dramatic things that we do. To pray just means to ask, to make a request. I pray thee, sir. I pray thee, ma. It's ancient English or it's old English. It's archetypal English. So ask your being. I've told you over and again that the Yorubas have a concept. The Omoluabi people, they have a concept of the center of your being. They call it Ori, the being who created you. And they encourage us to have conversations with that being. They will say, Biri lowo ori. Ask your being. What do you know? The Christians too have the same concept. They say, ask the Holy Spirit. They say, ask God. So have these conversations with yourself. What am I supposed to be doing? And where am I supposed to be doing it at or in? And then you will begin to get answers. And of course, you won't hear audible voices. If you pray and you hear audible voices, well, you are on your own. Things will just begin to align for you and you begin to find the compulsion to move in a certain direction. When that begins to happen for you, pass that compulsion or pass that instinct or pass that feeling that you're feeling, pass it through the lens or through the process of logic and common sense. I have to confess to you that when I was younger, I have done some harebrained and stupid things because I bought into a theology that said, God said, God said, God told me, God said. And I did some of the most stupid things that were devoid of common sense and logic. While you're waiting for answers or while you're looking for answers, when those answers begin to come, process those answers through common sense. Does this thing make sense? If it doesn't make sense, then think about it again. Don't rush out and do instinctive things just because they told you that your spirit will speak to you or something will speak to you and then you must do what that thing said. If you believe that, then you must believe that there are evil spirits as well. So when is it the good spirit telling you or when is it the evil spirit telling you? So how do you know which voice is speaking to you? How do you decipher? How do you make the differentiation? Don't go down that rabbit hole. It's very complicated and it will lead you into nothing but pain. Go with common sense every time. Yes, pray. And then when you think that the answers are coming, process those answers through the lens of common sense and logic. Ask your being, bere lowo ori, and then follow your own path in life. Whether remain in Lagos, whether move to Canada, whether vice versa, you have a USP. You have a unique spirit point of life. Discover your own. Again, as the Omoluabi say, onto bakaindi, o lè mọ bàtáyé. What works for one twin may not work for the other twin. In fact, again they say, òjò tó rọ̀ séwúro, òun náà ló rọ̀ sí rèké o. The same rain that makes the sugarcane sweet is the same rain that makes the bitter leaf bitter. In other words, the fact that two of us are doing the same thing does not mean we'll get the same results. It comes down to how we were designed and where the universe wants us to be and what we're supposed to be doing in that place. All right, that's it. I'll see you on the next one.